Today, we're going to look at some of the best ways to set up OpenClaw for free. Now, OpenClaw just had a brand new update recently, so we're going to set this up for free, and I'm going to show you multiple different ways you can do this, all right? So one of the first and one of the easiest ways to do this is when you are running OpenClaw, and I'll uninstall it first, and then we can reinstall it. So we can grab these uninstall instructions. I'll show you how to set up from scratch. We can take the instructions here to install it, right? And you just copy and paste the instructions from the GitHub. If you want help on that, check out the course inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. And once you've installed it and cloned the GitHub, you can paste in these instructions. Then it's going to come up with the onboarding process, as you can see. I'm just going to go with quick start, and this is the most important step, right? So there's several ways you can use it for free. Number one, you can actually use something called Minimax. Now, if you go to Minimax OAuth, you can get 7 days free on the coding plan. And the great thing about setting this up is that it's really easy. So for example, if we click on authorize here, once we've set up Minimax, number one will automatically be put on the coding plan for free for 7 days. And then number two, we don't have to mess around with any API keys, right? We can just go with Minimax 2.1. I actually wouldn't recommend at this point setting up Telegram or WhatsApp or Discord or anything, especially if this is new to you, simply because if you're doing this, when you're running these channels here, these create like more risks, right? So for example, if you're setting up, you don't want anyone else to access it. Well, then you would just host it locally, so literally no one else can access it, right? So if we click on skip for now, we'll just carry on going through the setup. No, I just put no on all of these. Then you press space and enter to press skip for now. That's going to install the gateway service, as you can see, which takes a couple of minutes. And once you've done that, just click allow. And then it will give you some options here, right? So it'll say Hatch into open the web UI or do this later. I'm going to click on Hatch into. That will open up this automatically, as you can see. And now we have OpenClaw set up. So if we say, hey, now you can see it's working, right? So it comes up and it's responsive. So if I say, hey, are you online? It's now online and ready to go, right? So that is method number one to set it up for free. So just to be clear here, if you want to use OpenClaw for free, you go to the terminal and you copy and paste these commands. This is in the AI Profit Boardroom, by the way, if you just want to steal the commands from me. Then you can go to the terminal and use this, and you copy and paste that, right? After that, method number one, use Minimax OAuth, select 2.1. That's the easiest method that I know. Let's talk about method number two. Method number two involves using something called Ollama, right? Ollama, you can install it. Once you've installed it, you can run models like Kimi K2.5, which are basically a little bit more powerful than something like Minimax 2.1. Now, just to be clear here, this is free if you stick within the weekly usage limits, right? And the weekly usage limits, they reset every week. You can see that I haven't hit the token limit, even though I live stream about OpenClaw every single day. And the way that you would set this up is, number one, you need to install Ollama. So you install Ollama, you can download it right there. Then you're going to open this up. As you can see, you're going to make sure you have Kimi K 2.5 Cloud downloaded and ready to go, as you can see right there. And then once you've done that, we can shut this down, uninstall it again. You can actually add multiple APIs to this, but I just want to make it super easy and simple to show on the live stream, otherwise it'll break. And it does break a lot if you mess around with the APIs too much. So we've uninstalled that. Then we're going to go back and reinstall it using these commands again. If you need the uninstallation instructions, we've got that inside the AI Profit Boardroom too. Link in the comments description, or just go to aiprofitboardroom.com. That's going to reinstall this. And then it's going to run you through the onboarding again. You're going to click yes, okay, quick start, skip for now. We can skip all this. Install the gateway service. And then once you've installed it, you can run this command right here, okay? So you copy this, open up a new terminal, make sure you have Ollama open with Kimi K 2.5 Cloud. Press that command. And now you can see OpenClaw is being configured with Ollama, right? And then you can see I write hey in the chat and it says, hey, I just came online. Who am I? Who are you? Right? And if we say, okay, what API or are you using Ollama right now? Boom, there you go, right? It's running Ollama Kimi K 2.5 Cloud. Now, just to be very clear here, if we go back to Ollama, because I know some people were confused when I saw some comments and stuff. If you go back to the billing section here, we are not paying for this, right? There are usage limits, but as you can see here, we've got quite a large usage limit. I haven't reached anywhere near my limit. I mean, like, we've still got 20% left, and I rinse it every single day on these live streams. And that's basically how you can set this up for free in literally 5 minutes, right? It's just a few copy and paste commands. Simon says, hey, good to see you here, man. Thanks very much for joining again. Shivam says, is there any 24/7 cloud service to put OpenClaw on, right? So here's the thing. If you are running this locally, so let's say, for example, I'm running this locally. If I connect it to Telegram or to Discord or to any other service like that for messaging, and I just leave my computer running with this in the background, the gateway running, and I connect them on the onboarding, then this is running for free and I can use it in the cloud because I've got it on my phone, right? Because I've got a Telegram connected and that sort of thing. And Income Street Server says, "Hey mate, did you know a lot of this stuff you can do with Codex app? Pretty interesting. I know you're on Mac. Awesome. Welcome here, Income. You know what? I just watched your video on OpenClaw and Hostinger. So shout out to you, man. If people watching, you haven't seen that yet, just check it out. Let's try this now. I haven't tried Codex. Bear in mind, Codex is free for a limited time only as well for free users. So you can check this out. All right. So let's try this out. We're going to try setting up a new folder here. Add a new project. We'll call this one OpenClaw. Open that up. Use automations I have to getting my pages indexed on Search Console. Nice. I should try that as well. So if we go into OpenClaw here, we'll start a new chat. I'll try this out. I've never tested this. And what I'll do is I'll uninstall OpenClaw first, just so it's not running in the background, and so that we start from a fresh install. Otherwise, it's likely to go wrong. But just to be clear here, we've got two free methods already, right? Method number one, you can use Minimax Auth, select 2.1, you get it free for 7 days on the coding plan. Method number two, install Ollama, make sure you got KimiK 2.5 ready to go, copy this command, and then stick with the token limits. So now we're going to go to Codex and we'll just uninstall this like so. All right, so we've uninstalled that now. And then let's try installing this using OpenClaw. I guess you want to use Codex API as well for the API. Yes, but like if we want to use OpenClaw and Telegram, even when our PC is turned off, then they get, yeah, that's it. So otherwise, you know, you can set it up on a VBS and stuff like that, but it's just, I wouldn't recommend doing that. What else we got here? NVIDIA provides a free inference model. I saw that for NVIDIA, but number one, you have to get verified. And number two, I saw that a lot of people were saying the API with KimiK 2.5 on NVIDIA, if you get an API key, is really, really slow because there'll be like 50 requests before someone actually creates it. So I've heard that it's quite slow. That's why I didn't recommend it today. But we can use it when our PC is turned off. Blah blah blah. Not as far as I know. Yeah, that's right. No one's going to give you like 24/7 cloud hosting for free. Try Coolify. I've not tried that, but yeah, that's a good tip there. All right, so let's try and install this now. So it's cloning the repository. Income stream services got 2,000 free users on Harbor. That's insane. Congrats, man. In 1.5 months. Pretty amazing what you can do in just like, 45 days. That is insane. Congrats, man. So it says, tell me what you want and I'll run it for you. Codex overflow. So it's choosing the OAuth directly in OpenClaw, I think, automatically for us, so we don't have to mess around with the terminal, which is great from what I can see. All right. The onboarding flow is running. Let's check the terminal here. That doesn't seem to work so well for me. If we have a look here inside the codecs, it says it set up the gateway and plugged it in. Let me try it. I'm just going to say it doesn't load, see if that works. This seems to be harder than just copying and pasting into terminal, but it'll be good if it can work without using the terminal. So let's see. There we go. Boom. Let's see if this works. It. All right, so that's set up now as well. And so method number 3, thanks to the legend himself. So you can see here, what you can do is go to Codex, which is free for a limited time. Plug in the GitHub link, ask it to set it up inside the chat. Follow the instructions. Set up OAuth with Codex, right? And that way you can use it free as well. So there's 3 different ways you can use OpenClaw for free, right? Method number 1. You can use Minimax or OAuth, select 2.1, get it free for 7 days. Method number 2, you can install Ollama, get Kimmy 2.5 working on it, set up Ollama, launch OpenClaw in terminal, and stick with the token limits. And then method number 3 is you go to Codex OS, plug in the GitHub link, which is this one. And then ask it to set up inside the chat. That takes a little bit longer, but the good thing is but you don't need to use terminal. All right. So that's 3 free ways to set up OpenClaw for free and get it running. That's pretty awesome, right? So, you know, whenever you hear people complaining about token limits or like not being able to use it or it being too expensive, etc., well, you've got 3 free methods that you can use. If you want to get all the instructions for that, it's inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description. What we got on the questions here. Serge says, wasn't there a free VBS from Oracle that people are using for OpenClaw? I don't know about that. And then Real says, where is my Sonnet 5? I'm not sure. I think we're all asking the same questions here. So it's not out yet, but it's expected to come out soon. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get all the instructions from today, you can get it inside my AI Profit Boardroom community. This is a community that teaches you AI automation, how to save time and scale. Plus, you can get all the instructions from today. So if you want to get the setup instructions, just go to the classroom. And then from there, you want to go to SOP updates. And you can see that we update this daily, right? So all these are updated daily with new tutorials, etc. Everything that I learn about OpenClaw, ClawBot, Moldbot, whatever you want to call it, is inside this section. As you can see, we've got full guides on pretty much everything you'd want to know when it comes to this stuff. And if you haven't already, you can also post inside the community, introduce yourself, meet cool new people. This is a community for like serious people who are scaling with AI. You can join the accountability group, like you can see. So you can, if you ever feel like you've got information overload or shiny object syndrome, etc., you can post your goals each day inside the accountability group, and then we'll make sure that you're held accountable to actually implementing them. On top of that, you can see it's not just me winning with AI inside here. So we actually have 118 pages of people win with AI. So if you want to learn exactly how we do the same, you can check that out inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. It also comes with 4 weekly coaching calls, so you can jump on the coaching calls, get help and support whenever you need it. And also inside the classroom here, you'll get my 5-week AI automation masterclass that takes you from complete beginner to expert with AI automation. Plus, you'll learn how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. Additionally, you'll get all my best playbooks for X, YouTube, avatar videos, etc. And also, if you want to get more clients, we have a full agency course here too. Additionally, you can learn how to rank #1 with AI SEO using this module right here. And you can also learn how to grow and scale a YouTube channel with AI using the full roadmap inside the classroom too. So everything you need to win and succeed with AI is inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description or go to aiprofitboardroom.com. So today we are going to be looking at how you can generate images, videos, and podcasts using the power of Google Antigravity. Now, Google Antigravity is a free IDE, and we're going to be using a paid plugin to make this even better so that it can generate images, videos, podcasts, and even send emails. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go over to Antigravity. We'll start a new project. As you can see here, we'll set that up in a new window. Then from there, we're going to go over to Skillboss. Now, Skillboss is where you can get the skill required to generate videos and that sort of thing, right? And you can see it's actually got instructions for setting up anti-gravity directly. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go to anti-gravity chat window, which you can do over here if you go to the right-hand side, right? And then inside here, you're going to copy this command, right? And attach the Skillboss zip file that you get from Skillboss, right? So inside the instructions here, you download the Skillboss zip. And then you're just going to take this command here, right? So we're going to copy that. You go over to anti-gravity. We'll upload the zip file. So let's grab that from our docs. Here we go. Drag that in. And then it's going to ask for access to our downloads folder. I'm going to allow that now. That's where the zip file is. Accept the commands here. It's going to unzip the zip file itself, and then it's going to start installing the skills, right? So it's installing the Skillboss directory. We're going to accept these. And then run ahead with the installation script. And now you can see on the left-hand side, we've got all these project files, right? So for example, we've got extensions, we've got remotion set up with this. We have all the scripts, all the templates, and also loads of workflows, right? So for example, it actually comes with a bunch of workflows that you can automate with content creation, ecom, emails. You can even set up databases using the login integration, README as well. We've got a logo maker and also a podcast maker and a website builder, right? So these are all automations that you can run using the new skills that you've installed directly to your anti-gravity. If you go to the skill MD file here, you can see here it says for any task, read this skill first. Multi-AI gateway for full stack apps, right? And then it can actually deploy websites, landing pages, etc. It can even connect to Cloudflare. It can set up AI audio, AI image, auth logins, Google OAuth, etc. Presentations via Gamma. It can scrape the web. It could do pretty much anything that you want it to, right? Now, if you keep scrolling down, you can see the individual skills. So, for example, you can connect Stripe to it. You can add authentication. You can generate AI content, send emails, create presentations, and search the web, right? With Firecrawl, Perplexity, etc. So it just makes anti-gravity like 10 times more powerful with these updates. So now we've installed this and we'll say, okay, create a video of a dragon flying in the sky, a cat eating a sandwich, and a podcast about AI agents in 2026. All right, so it's analyzing the skill MD and it's researching the Skillboss capabilities, right? So it's looking at, okay, what can I do with Skillboss? And then how can I implement that based on the prompt that I've just written in? So you can see here it's now beginning to leverage this for video creation. It's planning out the podcast implementation, and it's also looking at how it can generate the images, right? So it's proceeding now with the implementation plan. And you can see it's beginning to create that dragon in flying in the sky, right? Which is the video we requested. You can also see it's prompting the image and you get a progress update here. So you can see, okay, it's generating the dragon video, it's generating the cat image, and it's preparing the podcast script. And also the audio for the podcast, right? Now, these are things that you couldn't really do before. And the other thing is, well, like you could, for example, previously, you could give a separate API for 11 labs and then a separate API for VO3, and then a different API for example, generating images, but it'd be quite messy, right? Whereas with this, you get everything in one go, and all you do is say, like, install the zip file, right? So it saves a lot of time. Finesse Jones says, what is Julian building today? So today we are building this skill set inside anti-gravity that basically makes it 100 times more powerful because we've added in all these individual skills and automations, right? So we've got remotion in there as well. The cool thing about remotion is that we can actually create videos in terms of animations, and you can even give it an existing video and then it will edit that video for you too. Plus, because we're using Gemini 3 Pro for free inside the chat here, it's not the only cost is the actual plugin itself, which I think was about $15 when I signed up. Okay, so it says I've finished generating the dragon video, cat image, and AI podcast. You can find the files in your Skillboss directory, and I've included links to the online versions in the walkthrough artifact. So let's take a look here. So if we go to the walkthrough artifact, you can actually switch at the top between these, right? If you zoom in, zoom out, you might not be able to see them. If you zoomed in, it'll be hard to see them. So zoom out a little bit. You can use a command and minus or command and plus to zoom in and zoom out. And then you've got the task, the implementation plan, the skill MD file, the AI agents that's working on it. So this is the actual podcast script. And then we've got the actual walkthrough here. So if we click on view video for the dragon video and open this up, we've got the video itself with music, and that's a dragon video implemented, right? Now, if we go back to anti-gravity, we click on the cat image, open that up. We've got the cat eating the sandwich just as we requested, right? It seems to be, I don't know if it's eating it or what, but yeah, it's doing something with the sandwich. And then we've got something else, which is the podcast itself. So we can play this back. Intro music, host. Welcome back to Future Tech Today. I'm your host, and today we're jumping into 2026 to talk about AI agents. So that's a podcast as well. And essentially, what we've done there is just automate 3 different types of media using Google Antigravity. You could not do that before, but now it's quite easy to do. And literally, all we said was install the zip, and then you can prompt it as you want. There's a lot more you can actually do with this. You can actually deploy, for example, like e-com websites and that sort of thing. So we could say, okay, build an e-commerce website using Skillboss for my cat food site. And it should be able to build that, and it should also be able to deploy that too. Finesse Jones says, nice, I just learned about remotion. Yeah, remotion is super powerful. Really good workflow to use. And you can see here it's actually offered to set up Stripe and create some sample products. I want to say don't worry about Stripe, but do the rest. So it's kind of like the AI version of Shopify almost, where it can deploy e-commerce websites for you as well. I've not tested this out before, so it'll be interesting to see what we get in terms of the actual website and the design. But also because it's creating an e-com site, it can use its image generation to create the images for that store as well. So you can see now it's beginning to create the prompts as well, along with the products and the descriptions. And it's even come up with product ideas too. And then once this is finished coding, we'll be able to preview it too. I think it'll actually open up using the agent manager inside Antigravity. Now, these skills as well, it's not just for anti-gravity. So you can also use this, for example, inside OpenClaw, Claude, any desktop versions of Claude, etc. And you can see the details here. I have got nowhere near using the amount of credits that come with this on the basic plan, but if you do, I think you can top up as well if you're like absolutely rinsing it. And you can see it's available on like Claude Code, Cowork, OpenClaw, Cursor, Windsurf, basically all the main sort of IDEs and agents. And you can actually get the URLs as they go along. So if you want to see like, okay, what are the URLs for these PNGs like, the product images, you can check that out here. Master Shake says, great content, by the way. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And moving my OpenClaw from Docker to a VM right now. Nice. Just be careful where you install it. That would be my advice. So now you can see it's begun to create the pages themselves. If we have a look inside the folder here, you can see the homepage TSX. And then it will set up the environment so that we can preview it online as well. As you can see here, it says deploy in worker. So now the website is live at this URL. And if we click on that, boom, we just built a e-commerce website in like a couple of prompts. So you can see it's a very basic store, but it's created all the images, the products themselves. We can click on the buttons throughout the page. And that's an example of what it looks like, right? And then you can connect Stripe, you can build out more. Obviously, that's just like the basic version of the store, but you can see how you can quickly set that up. directly inside anti-gravity now using this new skill. So it's pretty cool. Bear in mind, this can also create presentations as well. And if you want to get a full setup with example workflows, supported models, example prompts, the full setup instructions, etc., what I've done is put that inside the AI Profit Boardroom for you. Link in the comments description. So if you go to the aiprofitboardroom.com, this is my AI automation community that teaches you how to get results with AI, right? Now, if you want to get the setup for using anti-gravity so that it can create images, videos, podcasts, send emails, do full stack deployment, etc., and even connect Stripe and create presentations. I've got a full tutorial inside the AI Profit Boardroom here. If you go to the SP section, you can get the details right there. All right. And inside this community as well, it comes with 2,200 members. You can see there's people always online ready to help. So if you post questions inside the community, you can get help and support whenever you need it. So for example, like Hakeem posted 5 hours ago and he's already got 3 responses to his post. I personally answered the questions inside here as well. And then also you can see inside the daily accountability group, you can post questions, set goals for the day, etc. Hold yourself accountable. And also, we update this daily, right? So, for example, in February already, we're only 5 days in. You can see all the new cool guides that we've added right here, including a full 3-hour course on exactly how to use OpenClaw and all the cool ways that you can use it. Additionally, you can see how to use the anti-gravity guide here. And we also have a full calendar where you can jump on calls, get help, get support whenever you need it, and always happy to help, right? Also, inside the classroom here, you can see that we show you how to go from beginner to expert with AI, plus how to create your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. On top of that, you get all of these SOP updates so you can stay up to date with all the latest changes. You can check out our playbook, for example, how to automate X based on what I do, newsletters, shorts, Instagram, AI avatar videos, even screen shares with AI. And then also you can see how to get more clients with the agency course, how to rank #1 with AI SEO, plus how to grow and scale a YouTube channel based on what's working for me. So that's all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Feel free to get it, link in the comments description, or just go to aiprofitboardroom.com. So today I'm going to be testing out something called Nanobot. Now, Nanobot is kind of like a smaller, lightweight version of something like OpenClaw. It's open source, as you can see right here. You can get free access to it, and you can set it up directly with your favorites chat. So you can use this, for example, on Telegram or WhatsApp, etc. Right? And the way that you use this is you just connect your token, as you can see. Right? So the easiest way to set this up is directly with Telegram. And then from here, what you can actually do, for example, is you can discover new insights and trends. You can deploy different code, as you can see inside this video. You can schedule, automate, and organize, and then you can learn as well. So you can actually set up a memory inside the chat as well, and then you can just use it directly inside your phone. So we're going to be testing out today. Let's get this set up. So I'm going to open up the terminal and follow the commands. First, we need to install it. So we're just going to install from the source by cloning the Git. There we go. Now, once you've configured it, so we've actually already configured it. I'm going to stop that. And then we'll set up the local models, right? So for example, you can set this up with Llama or whatever you want. And you can also connect it through the chat here, right? So the way that you can do this is you can link the device. If you have any questions as well as we go through, feel free to ask. I'm actually going to get Claude Code to add in the API key. And this is good if you just need to replace an API key, and give the new one to Nanobot. This is what we're doing. So I'll just do that in the background. And I'm going to grab the API key from OpenRouter. And then if we go back to Open Router, this is how you get your key. So you just go to your profile once you're logged in and then go to keys here. Once you've done that, then we can go inside the terminal. If we open up the terminal here, you can see that we've said Nanobot agent dash M hello, right? So you can communicate with it directly inside the terminal. It's very lightweight like that. However, what we really want to do is connect this to Telegram. So I'm going to do that in the background now. Sam says, isn't it better to use on a VPS? I don't know if it runs local. It does run local, but I wouldn't recommend setting it up on a VPS. I've just seen so many situations where running it on a VPS is not a good idea, whether that's any sort of AI agent. Usually OpenClaw is the one that's had a lot of problems with VPSs, but either way, I just wouldn't recommend it. So now what I'm going to do is link it to Telegram. And there's two things you need for the Telegram integration. Number one is the bot token, which you can set up via the bot father. And number two is your user ID. So I'm just going to grab both of those in the background. Gal says, what is TARS? UI TARS. Yeah. Yeah, we'll come on to that later. So if we go back to Telegram, now we've got Nanobot connected, as you can see right here. I'm actually going to create a guide so you can just follow the copy and paste instructions. But essentially what you have to do is you go to the bot father, you create a new bot, for example, like this one. Then you connect your user ID and your username and the token that you get from bot father directly inside the terminal. I did it with Claude Code, which was just way faster and easier. And then once you've done that, you can start connecting with it. And inside the terminal, as you can see right here, you want to make sure that you run the command nanobot gateway, right? Nanobot space gateway, and that's how you connect it. So if we say, okay, how are you? Let's see if this works. This is the first time I've really tried it inside Telegram. I've used it inside the terminal before, and it was pretty lightweight and fast. You can see how quickly it responds. If we actually have a look on OpenRouter, let's see how it's using the tokens. So if we go to keys here, we can see the usage so far. So it's pretty cheap to use. I think you can change the default model as well to make it even cheaper, but it's pretty fast as well when it replies. And then let's try some of the terminal commands for setting this up. So for example, discovery insights trends, we can say, what happened in AI automation today? Let's try that. 5th of February, 2026. Also, Claude, not tested out yet. Let's see what else we got here. Where's the treadmill? It's the only way to tell if you're the AI version or not. I got some comments saying stop walking on a treadmill, so I thought I'd try it, see if the videos do better. I'm on a tight budget. Do you think Quen 2.5 Coder locally can do a good enough job for building websites and deploying them autonomously? So if you're on a tight budget, just use Antigravity for deploying websites, right? That can still do a pretty good job. Can you use a separate local model for the heartbeat? I'm not sure about that. I've not seen anyone using multiple APIs with Nanobot, but you can do that with something like OpenClaw. So you can set that up with OpenClaw pretty easily. So it says, all right, I'm going to say, what API key do you need for that? To search the web. So we need Brave Search set up. I wonder if we can get Nanobot to install it directly for us. So you can get a free API and you get a certain limited number of searches per month. And then we should be able to search the web once we plug this in. So if we go to Brave Search here, and then we can grab a key from the API key section here. Now I'm going to try and plug that API key into the chat to see if it can do it. Actually looks like it can't. So I'm going to try getting Claude Code to add it in instead. Then we may have to restart the gateway. And Claude Code can basically add the web search API key, and then we just have to restart the Nanobot gateway. The other cool thing, if you use something like ClaudeBot, it will tell you which API keys you've used so far, and then what to delete afterwards, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to restart the gateway. Boom, you can see that we've now got this information, right? So it says, yes, web search is working now. Here's what's happening in AI automation today, Feb 2026. Today's automation news highlights. We've got Elon Musk, Year of the Humans, all this new information that came, right? And it's like, do you want me to dig deeper into any of these stories? So essentially, what we've done now is set up Nanobot. It's running with OpenRouter. We use Claude Code to set it all up and just run through the terminal commands. I think that's really good if you're not a coder like me. And then also we've plugged in Brave Search so that it can search the web as well, which is pretty awesome. What else can we do now? We can save and deploy apps and code to our computer. So if we go back inside the chat, we'll say, okay, create a simple SEO calculator, plus save it to my computer as a simple HTML. And Rayshon says, hey, I use OpenClaw with OpenAI Codex 5.1 and have a Plus subscription. Codex shows token usage, but OpenClaw doesn't show extra credits. Is OpenClaw usage covered by Plus, or are there extra costs? So if you've used the OAuth, if you use the OAuth of ChatGPT Codex, then you don't get charged for extra tokens if you're on like the Plus or the Pro plan, right? So for example, for me, I've set up OpenClaw, then used it with ChatGPT Codex OAuth, and then I don't get charged anything extra, right? Obviously, there's a limit to that, but yeah, so far so good. So this has created the calculator now, and we should be able to run it from terminal commands. So if we copy that. The thing that I do really like about Nanobot is like, it's just so much faster to respond than using something like OpenClaw. And you can see we've got the SEO calculator right here, right? So just to recap, we have searched the web for the latest AI automation news using Telegram, right? We've also set up and deployed an SEO calculator and saved the HTML file locally so that we can do that too. We can also schedule and automate and organize tasks. So if we go back to Nanobot here and we'll say, right, okay, schedule a daily task to search for the latest news and updates in AI automation within the last 24 hours. Do it at 8 a.m. Thai time each day. Happy to help. Now, if it's a more complex task, it will take a little bit longer to respond, but you can always check the terminal if it takes too long to respond, if you're like, has it broken or not? So far, it's not broken though. And I like the fact that you can just run the UI with something like Telegram, makes it easy. I would just be careful if you're connecting it to something like Telegram though, because obviously you need to be careful with this stuff. Like, if you want to play it safe, just run it locally inside the terminal. And now you can see here it says, okay, done. Your daily AI automation news task is now scheduled. Here's a summary of what it's going to do. So schedule 8 a.m. Thailand time, search for the latest AI automation news, reports are saved here, the logs are saved here. And then it's got some useful commands that you can run inside the terminal. And it says, note, your Mac needs to be awake for the tasks to run. If it's asleep, Mac OS will run it when it next wakes up, right? And then we can do a test run as well. So 3 good use cases there. And then also the final one is memory, right? So if I say inside here, okay, my cat's name is Arthur. Please remember this. Gail says, how good is Nanobot? Or it's good if you want a lightweight version of something, right? And you want something that's easy to set up and doesn't break so often. Nanobot's pretty good so far, pretty impressive. It does have limitations. It's not as good as OpenClaw, but it's pretty easy to set up. So it's kind of like pros and cons, and also it's much more lightweight, right? So if you're running this on an old computer, this might be an easier way and better way. I've also got video tutorials on YouTube about Nanobot and OpenClaw, so it depends whichever one you want to go with, right? Does it have persistent memory? Yes. So you've got this option to save to your memory now. So I said, my cat's name is Arthur. Please remember this. And it said, got it. Arthur is now saved to the memory. I'll remember your cat's name across our future chats. Give Arthur a pet for me, right? So it can remember stuff too. So that is basically it for setting up Nanobot. Pretty good, pretty simple. I'm actually impressed by how good it was. First time I used it, like all these tools, first time I use them, I'm like, what is this? And then the second time, I'm like, actually, yeah, it's not too bad. Not bad at all, right? You can see that we've got a full guide for the setup inside the AI Profit Boardroom. If you prefer to use OpenClaw, no problem, because we actually have a full 3-hour course on how to use OpenClaw, Clawbot, Molbot, whatever you want to call it. We'll also show you 3 different ways to set this up for free with Clawbot as well. And then if you prefer something that doesn't require any sort of terminal usage at all, you can use something like Nanobot. We've got a full tutorial and video tutorial inside the AI Profit Boardroom as well. So link in the comments and description to that. That's my AI Profit Boardroom community on School. Shows you everything you need to learn about AI automation. We update it daily with new tutorials like you can see here. So everything that I learn, I share with you. You can see all the updates that came just in February the 3rd. Also, you can post inside the community, get help and support whenever you need it. We've got an amazing accountability group where you can ask questions and focus if you want to set your goals and make sure you're held accountable to them. You can post questions in here. You can introduce yourself. You can even meet cool people in your area, right? So if you go to the map here, you'll see that in pretty much every location around the world, we have people locally, which is pretty cool. And then also, it's not just me winning with this, right? So we've actually got 118 pages of testimonials. It's like an infinite scroll of people who are winning with AI automation based on what we've taught them, right? So you can see here how people are getting stuff. I mean, for example, Quinn said, wow, I thought I understood AI automation until I joined the AI Profit Boardroom. Every week there are new systems, live calls, and people showing real results, right? If you're serious about learning with AI, this is where you start, right? And we've got tons of testimonials just like that from people who are winning, learning, and growing inside a supportive community for AI automation. So feel free to get that link in the comments description. We have 4 weekly coaching calls, and also inside the classroom here, we have a 5-week AI automation masterclass that takes you from beginner to expert with homework in just 5 weeks. Plus, you'll learn how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. Randy says, I don't know how to code and I have 2 agents running. Join the club, mate. I don't know how to code either, to be honest, Let's see what else we got here. Master Shake says, I built Nanobot for Linux yesterday, but I gave up reinventing the wheel. Just went back to OpenClaw. But Mimu alone is pretty good. Yeah, I would say Mimu is good. It's just like a simplified version. So like you don't have to use terminal or anything set up. If you want to get all my best playbooks for AI automation, you can see we've got the X automation here, newsletters, shorts, Instagram, AI avatar videos, even how we screen share with AI. We've got the full playbook and the step-by-step guide here. Now, the cool thing about this is you can give it to your team. You can share the guides with them. If you don't want to do this yourself, or if you want to set this up yourself, you've got everything you need to win right here. Additionally, inside here as well, you've got the full agency course. You've got a full section on AI SEO, YouTube, etc. There you go. Live says, what do you think are the best use cases for agents? Right. So when it comes to agents, the best use cases are just looking at what you already do and then figuring out what do you need to automate based on that, right? So for example, for me, the way that I do this, and I actually have a full section and training on this right here, right, on the time audits, so you can see how I do this personally. But I look at where am I spending my time and then what do I need to automate based on that, right? So for example, if I'm spending a lot of time on YouTube videos, it's like, okay, well, can I get my team to create AI avatar videos? And that's how I started doing that, right? The same on X, right? A few years ago, I was posting everything manually on X. Now my team does it for me. And you can see that yesterday, for example, we reached 600,000 people in one day, 1 million people in one day on Sunday, etc. Like, and it's my team running these automations for me. So you want to look at, okay, where are you spending your time? And then what can you automate based on that? What's the one thing that you can automate this week that would save you, 10 plus hours? What's the biggest constraint on your time? And then how can you automate that? And one of the best things you can do is run through that process every single week. So for me personally, what I'll do is I'll actually look at where am I spending my time, and then, okay, based on that data, I know exactly what I need to automate next. So I tend to find that's the smartest way to do it. Master Shake says Mimu is actually separate from MimuBot. It's their memory system. Yeah. So you got like the persistent memory API from their website as well. Yeah. So thanks so much for watching. As I said, feel free to see. Hope to see you inside there off the board. You can DM me personally as well, and I hope to see you in there. Cheers. So today we're going to be testing out something called TARS, UI TARS Desktop, as you can see. So we're going to be testing this out, seeing how it performs, etc. It's kind of like it looks kind of like Claude Cowork or something like that, but I know it was around way before then. And essentially, you can run this locally. It's open source, and it's like an AI agent that can basically do anything for you. So you can say, for example, like I'm in Los Angeles. Here's my budget. Please help me book a hotel, etc. Or draw me a chart of the weather for a month, blah, blah, blah. And you can use this AI agent to help you set up. So let's run through this and see exactly how to set it up today. I think the easiest way that I tend to find setting up GitHub now is just running it directly inside terminal. So I'm going to go inside terminal. We're going to use Claude Code to open this up. Then I'm going to say set up this. It should be able to do it for us. So you can see Claude Code is now setting up UI tasks for us. I think this is great. Like if you just want a sort of no code way of setting up these GitHubs, you could also use, for example, Codex OS as well. That's another good option. Now, this is actually launched by ByteDance. ByteDance are a Chinese company, right? And they're trying to go head to head with computer use and OpenAI operator. So ByteDance are the same company that owned TikTok as well before. So you've got three options here. You can set up Tiles CLI, UI Tiles Desktop, or both, right? So let's try both now. Let's see what else we can do with this as well in the meantime. So Agent has multimodal agent stack. So it brings the power of GUI agent vision into your terminal, computer, browser, and product, right? So it can control your browser as well. But you got to bear in mind here, it seems like there's two different options for this. So you got CLI, which is like within your terminal, and then you got Web UI as well, right? So these are two different agents. CLI looks like this, just runs in your terminal, blah, blah, blah. And then also you got Web UI that looks like this. Honestly, I think for most people watching this, you probably prefer the Web UI. Let's begin to set up agent tiles now. Let's have a look at this one as well. So it looks a little bit like Manus as well, you know. And then it says, please help me book the earliest flights from San Jose to New York on September the 1st and the last return flight on September the 6th. After switching, you don't need to search anymore. Answer me in English, right? And then it's got like a browser on the right hand side and the commands in the prompts on the left hand side, right? So you can chat to it on the left hand side and then you can speak to it. You can see what it's doing on the right hand side over here. Now you can see that it's cloned UI TAS desktop. It's like, would you like to help configure the component with a specific API provider? And then we can choose which key we want to use. So we could go with OpenAI, Hugging Face. So you could use Hugging Face as well if you want. I'm going to use Anthropic for this. And you can select multiple API providers as well. And then we could just grab an API key over at Anthropic. If we go to API keys down here, Now, you can see the UI is set up. So the way that we set this up is we use Claude Code, it installed the GitHub. I actually gave my API key from console Anthropic directly into Claude Code. That added the API key. You can see here it says, remember to delete your API key after the test, as you mentioned it. And then we can give it some options to go with, right? So we could say, okay, search for the latest news about AI agents inside the chat here. Now, if we scroll through this UI, which is hosted locally, as you can see, we can also, for example, use some of the demo options here. We have a list of our recent tasks. We can open up a new conversation, and we can do all sorts of cool things. So if we say, okay, search the latest news about AI agents, let's run with that. And you might say, well, okay, well, what's the benefit of using something like this? Well, interesting. API key is not working. We may have to fix that in a sec. So I'm just going to switch to OpenAI API key instead. It's good for you to see this. So you can see, okay, what are the bugs that happen? And then if we go back now, you can see that it's beginning to work. All right. So just to be clear here, one thing that I've learned is that you cannot use the Anthropic API key, even if Claude tells you you can inside the chat. So what I did was get another API key from OpenAI, plug that into Claude Code. Claude Code set up the environment with the key, and now you can see it's working, right? So search for the latest news about AI agents. You can actually do it, as you can see right here. And we've got all the latest news about AI agents inside the chat. So for example, it said, here are the dates. Here are some of the latest news AI articles about AI agents. So you can see some information right here. It did actually open up another browser tab as well. So it can control your browser. And then it's given us links to all the latest news in the industry, which is pretty cool. So let's go back here, see what else it can do. We'll try this instruction right here, see if it can do it for us. And we can also upload images too. And we can have multiple chats, right? So I'm going to click enter like so. Then I'm going to open up another conversation. We can see our tasks on the left-hand side here, so we can switch between them. And if we go to this conversation, I'm going to say, okay, create a beautiful website for my AI profit boardroom community on AI automation. And then I'll grab the information from our website, which we actually coded out and deployed with OpenClaw. We'll plug that in right there. See if that works. So now it's beginning to work on this, as you can see. And it's actually creating the files locally for our website, right? So we can see the source code here and the preview on the right-hand side once it's finished. So it's coding this all out. It's created this website, as you can see. And we've built that directly using OpenAI. That was pretty simple and easy. So it works really smoothly. I will say it's a lot faster than using some of the other AI agents. I won't mention their names, but there's some AI agents. Do you know what? I'll mention. So, for example, if you use like Manus can be quite slow when you're coding out with it. Whereas if you use something like this, it seems to be way faster. And I don't know if that's because it's running off your own API key and it's running locally, but either way, you can get results way quicker. And both of the tests that I've run so far have worked pretty much perfectly. So let's try this one. Draw me a chart of Hangzhou's weather for 1 month. Plug that in, hit enter. We'll say, okay, July 2025. And then it will do a web search. You can see it's opening up the browser. It's so fast when it opens up the browser. It's crazy. Look at this. So it's literally opening up new windows for me in the background using Chromium. And then it's beginning to map out the process here. That one actually hit a context limit. So just want to be 100% transparent with you. When it does break and when it doesn't work, I want to set clear expectations here. You can see that it says error in agent execution. I think this is because we're using ChatGPT 4.0 on the API model, which has a lower context window. And you can see it's actually struggled with that context length. But at the same time, pretty cool, right? Pretty cool AI agent. You can run it locally, quick and easy to set up with something like Claude Code. I would recommend using a more up-to-date API, like for example, 5.2 would be way better, but it's pretty simple and easy. What are some of the best skills you plugged your bot with? I think you're talking about OpenClaw, right? So if you have a look inside the AI Profit Boarding, we actually have a 3-hour course on how to use this stuff. And some of the coolest stuff that we've set up personally. Let me show you some examples. So we publish blogs directly to WordPress on our website for SEO. And check out the traffic after doing this. So this is when we started using OpenClaw. It was around about here last week. And you can see the traffic just went boom, right? And I'm not saying that's 100% because of OpenClaw, but you can see that we did publish quite a lot of blogs using OpenClaw directly to WordPress with the integration. And literally in the chat, I just said like, create an article about blah, blah, blah. Created it, started ranking the content, pretty easy and simple to create. And our traffic went from 239 clicks a day previously, all the way up to 782 clicks a day. It's insane. Some of the other stuff that we did, so you can use this as an AI SEO agent. You can connect via messaging apps. You can create AI avatar videos inside the chat. Voice notes in a clone version of your voice. You can send emails, organize your calendar, create animations. You can edit videos using Remotion. You can host it with Ollama, hook it up to Notion, code with no code, deploy landing pages to custom domains. So here's an example of a page we actually created using OpenClaw with Anthropic API and then deployed it directly inside the Telegram chat. And then finally, you can monitor, for example, like your competitors, right? So we could monitor our YouTube channels automatically. And every time there's a competitor that does better than normal, it will ping me in the chat with the video idea. So there's all sorts of crazy stuff you can do with this, right? Finesse Jones says, how would you rank all three, Clawbot, Nanobot, and TARS 1.5? All right, I love that question. So I would go with OpenClaw as number one, undeniably. It's unbeatable at this point. It does break a lot, but I think it's worth it for all the crazy stuff it can do. Nanobot is great if you just want a lightweight version, and Tars is good. Like it does some cool stuff. If you went back like before Clawbot, this would be amazing. But I do think like in terms of all the developments that have come out recently, I'd still rank OpenClaw as number one. And better than Tars 1.5 by a long way. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get, let's plug this in. If you want to get a full training on how to use UI TARs and get it set up, etc., you can get that inside my free community, the AI Success Lab. Link in the comments description. There's 51,700 members inside there. And if you go inside the classroom here, in the search bar, you can search for whatever tool you want to learn about, right? And we've got training on every single tool out there, literally for free. So for example, if we go to this section here, you can see that we've got a full video tutorial plus step-by-step guides on exactly how to use UI TARs, how to set up, etc. And that's all inside the AI Success Lab. You can also post in the community, etc. Right? Now, if you're serious about AI, if you want to scale up, save time, if you want to automate your business, etc., join the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description, or just go to aiprofitboardroom.com. From there, you can join our amazing community. You can see all the people and how active it is inside the community here. If you have any questions, you can post your questions. We have a daily accountability group so that you avoid shiny object syndrome and overwhelm. You can also jump on 4 weekly coaching calls a week. So these are live Zoom calls where you can get coaching, help, support live on a call, and also meet the community. You can meet cool people in your local area. So you can just zoom into your local area and then DM people and say like, hey, you want to jump on a Zoom call? Or, like, what are you working on? Look at this. Even in Panama, we've got members. So for example, if you were in Panama, you could DM Ike like, hey, you want to jump on a Zoom call or meet in real life, blah, blah, blah. Also, inside the community here, you can learn how to go from beginner to expert with AI automation, plus how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. Okay. Also, you'll learn our best playbooks. So for example, if you want to learn how I automate X, how I free up my time, how I automate shorts and Instagram, avatar videos, etc., you can get that all inside the AI Profit Boardroom with my best playbooks. We post daily updates. So if you want to learn, for example, how to use Clawbot, we have a 3-hour course here with a full setup guide, and we have 3 free ways to use Clawbot that you can steal from us inside this section. We have a full guide on setting up Nanobot, how to use Antigravity to generate images, videos, podcasts, etc. You can learn how to set up OpenClaw with Skillboss, which is pretty amazing. That's a great use case. All sorts of crazy stuff. All right, and that's all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You can also learn how to get more agency clients. You can watch about the coaching calls if you don't make them live. You can learn our best automations for AI SEO, plus how to grow a YouTube channel based on what's working for me. So that's all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or just go to aiprofitboardroom.com. Appreciate you watching. See you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.